Acha, so I have shared my whiteboard. You will be able to see that in some time. Okay. So basically, we were talking about simple and compound interest yesterday. But the problems which we did were about simple interest. We did two types, and this is the third type. Okay. So, right. Okay. So we were discussing simple interest yesterday, and we discussed two types yesterday, right? And today we will talk about the third type, in which given would be the final amount and the initial amount. So in these questions, you would have the final and initial amount, but you will do some working in order to calculate the interest rate, because that would not be given in these questions. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, for example, let's say we have a problem which says, example number 1. Okay, so it is Myra invests $800 in a bank. Okay. Which gives simple interest. Now, this is extremely important to understand the fact if it is simple interest or compound interest, right? So you would be told that if it's simple interest or compound interest, you'll be knowing the type. Okay. Her final bank balance after 2 years is $1,120. Find the percentage simple interest. Okay. So basically, we are talking about interest, particularly simple interest. We discussed some contents about the compound interest yesterday as well, but that was just the basic part. We'll talk about compound interest as soon as we end simple interest. So yesterday we did two types of questions. In the first type, it was that we had final amount and interest rate. Then the second type had final initial amount and interest rate, and this time we have the final amount and the initial amount, and we need to calculate the percentage of simple interest. Okay, now we need to play with the concept, right? What is the final amount? Final amount is what? Myra invests $800 in a bank, which gives simple interest. Her final bank balance after 2 years is $1,120. So this means that this amount is her final amount, and we need to find the percentage of simple interest. So what is the Initial amount? Initial amount is $800. Okay, forget about the question. Just let's just talk about the amount of interest. Okay, so this was her initial amount, and at the end of 2 years, she had this in her bank. What does it mean? That what is the amount of interest? It would obviously be 1120 minus 800, right? Because this is how, this is what she, this is the additional amount other than her initial amount, right? So this is $320. Any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right. Now this is the amount, this is the interest amount after 2 years. Okay. It is the amount of interest after 2 years. So amount of interest after 1 year would be what? Any idea? 320 divided by 2, right? Because if this is for 2 years, for 1 year, I need to divide this amount, and that would be $160, right? So what is the question? The question is find the percentage simple interest. This is the amount of interest. This is the initial amount. So in order to find the percentage, what do we do?
Multiply by 100.
Yes, okay. And we need to divide it with something else as well. Percentage interest is very good. It is interest multiplied by 100. Well done. But you have to divide it by the original amount. That was the initial amount. Naira, can you please remove this? Okay, so this would be 160 divided by the initial amount, that is 800 into 100. So we will get 20%, right? Anything that you have not understood in this question? Anyone? Anyone?
No, it's clear.
Naira, are you clear with this?
No, miss, it's clear.
And what about you, Mariam?
Yes, miss, it's clear.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so we are done with simple interest. Let's just talk about a few more questions, and then we'll talk about the compound interest. Okay. So, okay. The question is, all right, all right. Okay. So the question is, Ali invests his $120 at a rate of 4% simple interest. Calculate the total amount he has after 2 years. Now, this is the very first type which we discussed yesterday. So basically, there's a guy who invests $120 at a rate of 4% simple interest. Calculate the total amount. So what is given? Initial amount and interest rate is given, okay? Initial amount and interest rate is given, and you need to calculate the total amount at the end of 2 years. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, let's see. Let's talk about the interest for first year, right? So again, year one, he is going to have 4% of 120 because this is the interest rate, this is his initial amount. That would be 4 by 100 into 120. So 0 and 0 would be cancelled. And what are we going to get? Anyone?
4.8.
Very good. $4.8, right? This is the interest amount at the end of first year. Very good, Turan and Salim, both of you. Okay. The question is, what would be the total amount at the end of 2 years? So obviously, we know that the final slash total, whatever you call it, the ending amount is basically the initial or the starting amount plus the interest amount, right? So if this is the interest amount at the end of first year, for 2 years, it would be 2 multiplied by $4.8. That is going to give us $9.6, right? Okay. Now this is what? This is basically the interest amount at the end of 2 years. In order to find the total amount which he is going to have in his bank, what do we do? Total amount equals this formula, initial amount, that is 120 plus the interest amount for 2 years, that would be $129.6. So this would be the amount. So did you understand this question completely?
I have a question.
Yes.
Um, if we do 8% of 120 instead of 4% of 120, would that be correct? Because it would lead us to 9.6 directly, and then we could add 120 to find the total.
Yes. Okay. Do you remember the question, like one of the questions which we did yesterday, in which I told you to add the interests? Like in which we
Yeah.
had 20%, I told you to add the interest and just find 160%. Exactly. Very well done. You can do it directly as well. Okay. But
Okay.
every student would not be able to understand it this way. So it's good that whatever way you do, as long as your method is correct, yes, that method is correct, and you're getting the right answer, it's completely fine. So yes, that would be correct as well. But you should know the concept that 8%. Why? Because for 1 year it is 4%, and then for 2 years it would be 8%. Right. Okay. So let's talk about another question. Okay. Okay, so this is another question. Alex has $150 she plans on investing them in a bank. This bank offers 8% simple interest. What would be her interest amount after 3 months? Okay, so I want you guys to do this question. Let's see if you are able to do it. And if you are not able to do it, then I'll help you with this. Okay, I'm just underlining the important things. Okay.
Oh, I completed.
Yes.
The simple interest 36.
Okay, so you are getting 36.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see what other students are getting. What about Surhan and Saneem?
Oh wait, I forgot to do the total amount.
No, no, you have to find the interest amount only, not the total
Oh, okay.
amount, right? Yeah,
Okay.
but
Okay.
just know that this 8% is for the whole year, okay? It's not for 1 month. So think about your solution once again.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Saneem, what are you getting as your answer?
I'm doing it.
Okay. Okay, so let's do it together then. All right. So what is the question? Alex has $150. She plans on investing them in a bank. This bank offers 8% simple interest. So I would like to be very clear here. even if they're not telling you that if this interest rate is per annum or for the whole year, you should know. Yes, Sanim, your answer is correct. Very good. You should know that this amount is for the whole year. Okay. All right. So the question is, what would be her interest amount after 3 months? So let's just skip this part. Let's just talk about the first two things. So we know that if we talk about the solution, we know that her initial amount or initial deposit or whatever you are comfortable calling it, let's call it the initial amount. The initial amount is $150 and the interest rate is basically 8%. Okay, this is for the whole year. Okay, even if that is not mentioned, still you should do this for the whole year. So we are interested in the interest amount. So forget about 3 months. Let's talk about what would be the amount after 1 year. Okay, so we know that in order to find the amount after 1 year, what we do is we multiply the initial amount with the interest rate. That would be 150 into 8%. This means that 150 multiplied by 8%. So what are we going to get? 150 into
12.
8 divided by 100. Very well done. That is 12. Excellent. Okay. Now, $12 is the interest amount at the end of 1 year. The question is, what would be her interest amount after 3 months? So clearly we can see that the answer would be less than 12, right? Yes, the answer would have been $36 if we had years here, but this is months. So we are going to use simple ratio proportion. So if for 1 year it is $12, this means that for 12 months, the amount is $12. So what would be the amount for 3 months? It would be X dollars. We need to do simple cross multiplication. 12x equals 12 into 3. 12 and 12 would be cancelled and X is $3. This means that after 3 months, the interest amount would be $3, right? So is this question clear now, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the last question and then we'll talk about compound interest. Okay. So let's say that the question is, John invests $300 in a bank which offers X% simple interest. He has $400 after 3 years. Find the percentage, or maybe we can write it this way, find the value of X. Okay. All right. Now this is the question, okay? What do we have? John invests $300 in a bank which offers X% simple interest. He has $400 after 3 years. Find the value of X. My very first question is that which type of question is it? Is it the first type, second type, or third type? It is the third type because we have initial amount and final amount, and we need to find X. And what is X? X is the percentage of simple interest, right? So this is the question. Okay, now how do we do that? First, we need to calculate the interest amount. So interest amount after 3 years would be equal to what? Final amount minus initial amount, obviously. So finally, he has $400. Initially, he had 300. This means that by the end of 3 years, he was able to earn an interest amount of $100. Okay. Okay. In order to find the interest percentage, we need to find the same thing. We need to find the interest amount after 1 year. So how do we do that? If it is $100 for 3 years, it would be 100 divided by 3, right? So this would be, what would be this? Are you guys doing it with me?
33.33.
Yeah, okay, very good. So it would be $33.333. So we can just write it this much. Okay. So this is the interest amount after 1 year. Now, how do we solve this question? We need to find the value of X, that is the percentage of simple interest. So the interest amount after first year, that is 33.3, divided by the initial amount, that was 300 multiplied by 100. So 0 and 0 would be cancelled. And what is the answer?
11.11.
Yes. So this is basically the percentage of simple interest, right? Anything that you have not understood? We are done with simple interest. Yes, Turhan, did you understand it completely?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Okay.
Yes, miss.
All
I
right.
understood.
All right. Very well done. Okay. Now, let's talk about compound interest. Okay. So this is compound interest. Okay. So I told you the basic concepts of compound interest yesterday. And although it looks like that compound interest is difficult, but no, but for questions related to compound interest, we just have one formula and we can use that formula to solve every question. So this is the best part about compound interest. Okay, I will write down that formula initially. So it is F equals P1 plus R by 100 multiplied by N. So what is F? F is the final amount P is the initial amount. We also call it principal amount, but obviously it would be very complicated at your level. So just know P is because of that principal word, okay? But it is basically the initial amount. This is the percentage of compound interest, and this is the number of years. Okay. Now again, what was the concept of compound interest? We are clear with simple interest. We know that in simple interest, the amount of interest would be same for every year, right? If we are getting $100 for first year, we will still get $100 for the second year. But in compound interest, things are different. For example, let's say if my initial amount was $200 and the compound interest percentage was 2%. So first year I will have 200 plus the interest amount, that would be 2% of 200. So what is 2% of 200? Can anyone tell me?
2 divided by 100 multiplied by 200.
Yeah, very good. But what would be the value?
4.
4. Very good. Okay. So that is 204. Okay. For second year, what we do is, now let's write down what it would be for simple interest. For simple interest, it would be 204 plus 4 because the interest amount is same. But for compound interest, it would be 4% of this new amount. So what would be the value? 204 plus 4 divided by 100 into 204. So you are going to get 12.16 dollars, right? So this is the difference in compound interest and simple interest, right? This is for compound interest. In simple interest, you would have written 200 here, right? Because in simple interest, every time we refer to the initial amount. But in compound interest, we refer to the previous amount. So are you guys clear with the difference? We have discussed this yesterday as well. Yes, are you clear with the difference, everyone? Please ask me if you have not understood this, please. Naira, Saneem, Turhan, and the new student, please answer me.
It's clear, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So it's clear. Right. So this is what the compound interest is. And this is the only formula which we will be using. Okay. So let's write down an example directly. Okay. So the question is, Ahmed invests $400 in a bank at 10% compound interest for 4 years. Find the final bank balance at end of 4 years. So how do we do this question? Please don't say that first we will find the interest amount and then we will add this in the initial amount. No. This question has the word compound interest. Remember there's a big difference in compound interest and simple interest. For compound interest, we have a formula and we can use that directly. For simple interest, we need to do it that way, okay? So this is the formula. This would be the final amount. This is the initial amount. This is the interest rate and this is the number of years. So this would be 400 into 1 plus 10 by 100 multiplied by 4. Now n is 4. R is 10, initial amount is 400. So what is the answer?
5 multiplied
50.64, right? Okay, are you getting the same values, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Acha, so the answer turned out to be, let's write it 585.6. Okay, let's talk about the second part of the same question. Second part is, what is the total interest earned in 4 years? Okay, so this question is quite easy. If the final bank balance is this, what would be the total interest amount earned after 4 years, given that this was the initial amount? So how do we do this? By simply subtracting the final amount minus the initial amount. Final amount is $585.6. Initial amount is 400. So what do we get as our answer?
185.62.
Very good. This would be the interest earned in 4 years, right? Anything that you have not understood?
No, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Acha. Let's talk about another question. This is the last question for today. Okay, so it is, Michael invests $P at a rate of 3% compound interest after 30 years. The value of this investment is okay. Now, what is the question? Michael invests this. What is this? This is basically the initial amount. So this is the, oh, sorry. This is the initial amount. This is R. This is N. After 30 years, the value of this investment is this. So this is F. Calculate the value of P. We basically need to find the initial amount. So again, for finding out the initial amount, we are going to use the formula. Since it is compound interest, without even thinking about the question, this is in compound interest, I will start my solution with this formula. F equals P 1 plus R by 100 into N. So what is F? F is 1469. I need to find P because this is the initial amount. This was the final amount. I had that amount. 1 plus what is R? R is 3 divided by 100 to the power n is 30. Okay. So what would be the answer? I want I want an answer from every student. Please do this and tell me the value of P. It's simple maths.
605.22.
605. Check that again, please. Just give me a second. Okay. So it is 1469 divided by this value.
I got 1,344.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what is the answer. Okay, so it looks like
Wait, sorry, 605.2.
yeah, exactly. So Salim's answer was correct. Okay, perfect. Excellent, everyone. Okay, so this would be 2.427 so on equals P. And when we simplify this, what do we get? $605.21, right? Naira, are you getting the same value? Yes, Naira? Okay, Naira is not in the class. Essa, are you getting the same value?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So anything that you have not understood in this class? Anyone? Saneem, Turhan? Any questions?
No, ma'am, I understand.
Okay, perfect. So I will end this meeting. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.
Graph is
Allah Hafiz.